1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Shall I compare thee to a summer's day, or whop it up thee straight away? It rhymes.
All that training.
Oh, yes, I've done... Oh, God, I've done the classics, yes. Good evening. Welcome to Have I Got News for You? I'm Martin Clunes. In the news this week, during a crucial conference debate on the economic crisis, one Labour Party delegate finally completes his Sudoku. In a keynote speech, Gordon Brown assures party members that Peter Mandelson has a plan that will win Labour the next election. And outside the Vatican, Margaret Thatcher is surprised to spot something she donated 20 years ago to an Oxfam shop. On Ian Hislop's team tonight, a TV reviewer and broadcaster who's described himself as no current affairs expert. So I don't know why he's appearing on this show. Oh, yeah, he's got a book out. Please welcome Charlie Brooker. And with Paul Merton tonight is a choreographer who's brought her high-energy dancing skills to many hit TV shows. Good luck tonight, love. Please welcome Arlene Phillips. And we start with the bigger stories of the week. Ian and Charlie, here we go again.
Oh, someone opening a letter. They've got one. I don't know how they did that. Cup of tea?
Oh, it's Mr. Popular.
Oh, yes, this is Gordon's cleaners, presumably. This is MP's expenses.
Yes.
They got back from the summer to find a letter from Sir Thomas Legge asking them to pay the money back, which they'd claimed. And they're all furious. I mean, rightly. I mean, you appoint someone to look into a scandal, you don't expect them to clean it up. I don't know where they've been.
It's disgraceful competence, he said.
I think he should be sacked for it.
They are absolutely furious, aren't they? He's basically gone back and retrospectively applied some rules.
Yes, and they said, look, it's not fair, because we fiddled our expenses, but at the time, no one noticed. And now they have, and that is retrospectively unfair.
Well, what powers does he have to make them repay it?
None.
Can you send them a sternly worded letter?
Well, there's
in a really imposing font.
Yeah. There's a...
Terrifying.
On stiff card.
Well, he has to submit this report to a committee of MPs, and do you know what they could do with it?
They could reject it.
They could reject it, they could approve it, or they could give it to the House of Commons to vote on. What did Jackie Smith have to do this week?
She had to apologise. She didn't have to pay anything back, though, because you have to pay back the small amounts, you know, a couple of grand for cleaning, but £100,000, if you've fiddled, you don't have to pay back. You just have to apologise gracelessly. So, no, she's going to go to the House of Lords, apparently. Really, she's going to take a title. Perhaps one of the films her husband enjoys.
Yes.
Is there any way that MPs could get more unpopular?
We can find out a bit more about them.
Oh, I know.
Lord Oakeshott said shamed MPs should not stroll into the House of Lords. He was loudly cheered by Lord Archer, the Cash for Questions peers, and Lord Paul, who's worth 500 million and currently being investigated for claiming 38 grand on a flat he's never stayed in. Do you know how he defended himself?
He said, I could have stayed there. It was a flat in a hotel which one of his employees was actually living in. So he couldn't have stayed there, and he had no intention of staying there.
Maybe he didn't mind sharing a bed.
Yeah, exactly.
Now you're suggesting something serious.
David Cameron has apparently paid back £600. Do you know what he was claiming for?
Is this the wisteria?
Do you know where it was?
All over his house.
It was in his Argos chimney. He's the man of the people, isn't he?
He's got wisteria growing up a chimney.
Up his Argos chimney.
Up his arm's chimney. I'm surprised he can walk straight.
So what else has been in the news lately?
Oh, the fire sale. Everything's for sale.
Oh, that.
You mean
yeah.
the deficit reduction plan?
Yeah, everything. the big jumble sale.
Yes.
Everything must go.
But they're selling a bookmakers. I didn't know there was a state-owned bookmakers.
Is there?
Am I right in thinking the Royal Mint is up for sale?
Yes.
This is just desperate. He announced it because he couldn't think of anything else. The Tories came up with a plan to save money, i.e. you all work another year, which I'm sure was very popular amongst everyone, and he needed an immediate fire sale. So he said, what have we got? We'll sell off the Dartford Crossing, the Duke of Edinburgh... I may have made that up.
Are going to be torn down and turned into flats? Is that what I heard?
Well, they're hoping to raise £16 billion to pay off. Do you know how much the debt is, according to the Scotsman? That's the newspaper, not the Prime Minister.
It's nearly $1 trillion.
Nearly $1 trillion.
If you buy the Royal Mint, can't you just print money?
Yeah.
Print the amount that you paid for it?
Yeah.
Why aren't you Chancellor?
I've asked myself that many a time. What if a mad oligarch buys it and, like, puts photos of his dogs on all the banknotes or something? Or issues coins made of butter? Have they looked into these possibilities?
Well, the
course
possibility
they
that somebody
have.
might buy the mint and issue coins made out of butter.
Yeah.
It's the sort of thing they don't think of, and then
Yeah.
5 years later, we're all looking stupid.
It's been the party conference season. Peter Mandelson was never off the telly. Let's have a look at his most cringeworthy speech section.
And yes, we do start that fight as underdogs. But, conference, let me say this. If I can come back, we can come back.
I love the subtext of that. If I can recover from a, dodgy mortgage problem with a loan that wasn't quite declared, why not apply that nationally?
Have a look at them during Alistair Darling's speech. See how that went down.
The people who led the way in stopping the recession, turning into global depression, were our government and our Prime Minister, Gordon Brown.
The phrase global depression.
And meanwhile, Newsnight's Michael Crick was asking people to play a sort of amusing political game in the corridor, but Mandelson tapped up. Have a look at this.
Maybe you don't think there should be any cuts?
Well, there will be.
I couldn't come back and do it later after I've addressed the Social Market Foundation and Progress Organisation on the future relationship between the state and market. Yeah.
The big story is, of course, the expenses row, which has caused universal outrage and indignation. According to The Telegraph, one anonymous cabinet minister said, "This whole thing is Gordon's fault." Adding, I'm sorry, what was the question again? Despite breaking the rules over expenses, it looks like Jackie Smith will be given a seat in the House of Lords, though no doubt she'll still claim the House of Commons as her main residence. Paul and Arlene, here's yours.
There's Barack Obama. He's appearing in a one-man show, but nobody knows. Yes, this. I think that's Alfred Nobel. It must be the Nobel Peace Prize.
What's that?
That's something you really shouldn't know about. He did win the Nobel Peace Prize, so that's what it is, I think. That's why he's...
Do you know what he was being honoured for with the Nobel Peace Prize?
For peace.
In a very short space of time, he created
And people
world
were
peace.
surprised, but they haven't published the shortlist, which I happen to know.
Yes.
It was him,
Yeah.
Osama, President Ahmadinejad, and Blair.